I'm gonna tell you how to progress faster in software than anyone else. I'm not gonna lie to you. Learning in tech is hard, and that's why it's so well paid. But what if I tell you that there are a few things that you can do to not get stuck anymore? My name is Miguel and I've been working in tech for the past 4 years all over the world. At the age of 24, I got my first 6-figure salary. And I could have that quick progression because I followed the 5 keys for learning software at the speed of light that I'm going to show you in this video. Key number 1, learn by doing, not by reading. At university, I studied mathematics, and the courses that I took were more like geometry, algebra, analysis, some statistics, but there was not a lot of programming. So most of the software that I learned it by myself. What I used to do to learn software was to pick some manual or some book, I don't know, in let's say deep learning, to see what are the projects of this book, to type the project by myself, and to make it run. I spent years learning like that until I started working. Then I discovered that software was a massive thing. It was not just learning to code in 1,000 languages. There was a lot of things I was not learning how to code in some language. Things like architecture of software, things like what is Git, things like Docker, web development, front-end, back-end, databases, and so on. And in a few months, like 2-3 months, I learned more software that I had learned in 3 years. Why? Because I was working, I was creating, I was making something run. I was not just copying code from a book. First you do and then you learn. It's never the other way around. Having a book is a very good tool, but you have to do first. The book comes after you have started to do. Because when you start to do, you find troubles, and the book explains how to fix those troubles. But if you start reading the book before bumping into the problems, you're not going to learn anything. For instance, I really like this book. This is Clean Code in English. It's from Robert C. Martin. This is the Spanish version, it's translated. But anyway, this is a really good book for software engineers. It explains you how to write clean code in a professional way, how to choose abstractions, how to make good functions, but you would never appreciate this if you have never worked professionally as a software engineer. Until you haven't found a code that you have to maintain, and it's very hard because there are a lot of abstractions, or the abstractions are wrong, I don't know, whatever. This book is not going to give you any learning. The best way to learn anything new in software is to work in that field. This also applies to software engineers which feel stuck in their career because they have been doing the same thing for years. If you want to learn something new or you want to change your field, maybe you have been developing Android and you want to go to data, or you have been in data and you want to do front-end, I don't know, whatever. The best way to learn these things is to get a job in that field. If you see that in the past 3-4 months you haven't learned anything new, you should definitely switch jobs. By the way, I help software engineers to switch jobs and add $30,000 to their annual salary in just 3 months. If you want to work with me, check out the link in the description. There you can book a call with me so I can see if I can help you. Once that you get that job where you can learn what you want, there is something that you can do to accelerate even more your learning. This is the second key. Understand your brain. Understanding how humans learn can make the difference between staying 1 whole year stuck on something and make a lot of progress and learn many new things in a few months. There is already a lot of knowledge on how humans learn that you can take advantage of. Everything that I'm going to tell you here is based on the research of Anders Ericsson, who was professor of psychology at the University of Florida. He studied top performers in many different fields, from music, gymnastics, mathematics, chess. He studied almost every field, top performers in every field, and he summarized what are the keys to become a top performer. Professor Ericsson says that you have to be obsessed. You cannot learn something new, like a new programming language, a new framework, a new library, with music. Of course, you can do something. Music doesn't switch off your brain, but that's not a method to become a top performer. Professor Ericsson also says that learning is not something pleasant. It hurts, it's painful. You know these moments when you are troubleshooting a bug and you don't know where is the bug, you are not able to find it, you don't know why that line of code is not doing what it's supposed to do, and you maybe forgot something. Maybe it's something stupid. But that obsession, that focus with the problem, it's what is rewiring your brain so you can understand better the language. And these are the moments that gives you a deep understanding of software. Understanding your brain is also understanding that your brain is part of your body, which means that for having a quick learning, you also have to care about your health. It's easy to forget this part, but eating well, doing exercise, and sleeping well will make you learn double faster. It's in the night when your brain sees what you have learned during the day, and it classifies and stores in your memory this knowledge. And the last thing that Professor Erickson says that you need for learning is feedback, good quality feedback. It's someone or some way that tells you when you are doing good and when you are doing wrong. And this is related to the next key number 3, your environment. Most of the people think that world top performers in any discipline are there because of their genetics. There are also other people who think that it's just a matter of repetition. There is this famous saying of that you need 10,000 hours of practice on something to become an expert. That's also not true. What makes the difference between a good performer and a top performer is the trainer. You can call it trainer, teacher, professor, master, your boss, I don't know, whatever. What you need is a person that gives you feedback and has a lot of experience in that field. First, as I said before, you need feedback. And second, the quality of that feedback matters. Having with you a person who has been or is a top performer can make you save years of training. Let's do an example with coding. If you don't have very good software engineers around you in your work and you take some technical decision on some architecture of your software, okay, knowing if that architectural decision was correct or not maybe takes months, because maybe your code is not scalable enough and you don't find out that until 3-4 months in the future. While if you have a software engineer who has been, I don't know, 20-30 years in the industry and had seen this before, when he sees in the review your code, he will tell you and you will learn much faster, because that feedback that without this guy it would have taken like 4 months, you are getting that feedback in few hours. I have a personal example that illustrates this very well. I currently work in an aerospace startup designing software for drones and aircrafts. And my company has a few guys who are world top performers, people with, I don't know, 30-40 years of experience in aerospace. And what they do is that they support young engineers when they have problems. So it happened one time that one of these technical advisors saw that there was something that had to be done and no one was doing it. This thing was to do performance analysis of one aircraft, and he picked me and one colleague, and he decided he was going to teach us how to do that. We spent a few months with him, and it has been one of the best experiences that I've had, because we learned literally something that an engineer takes maybe 4 or 5 years to learn in a few months. And the way we did that was that he explained what we had to do in very small steps. We were doing it. When we had a problem, we showed to him, and he was giving us feedback all the time. This guy has like 50 years of experience in aerospace, and he was teaching us day after day for months. Right now, I'm close to an expert on that topic, and it's an experience that learning that by myself would have taken, like what I said, years, or even not being able to get it without that feedback. Key number 4, don't practice in autopilot. 3 big moments in their life where they learn a lot and then they get stuck. These moments are when you start school, when you start college, and when you start working. And after a few years of these seasons of life, you get stuck. Why? Because these 3 moments are moments when the pressure that is put on you increases dramatically. First, you have been a kid and you had no idea of the world, and suddenly you have to learn to read, to do simple math, to write. You start having exams, and that pressure forces you to improve your skills. Then you get stuck. You fall at a constant pace. You're learning with the teacher and the school, you get used to the school. Then you reach to college where the pressure again increases dramatically. And the same thing happens. There are a lot of failures in the first years of college. Then you get used to the college and you know how to manage. And then you reach to work. You have no idea what you have to do. You see everyone that seems to know what they are doing and you feel like an imposter. So again, you feel the pressure and you force yourself to learn and you do it fast. But then again, you get stuck, because you get used to that and you get stuck. So you see, the common factor of these moments of learning is that you are put under pressure. After the first years of working, especially in software, what I see is that people get used to do the same thing every day. They can do it with music and they just wait to be able to say, hey, I have 5 years of experience as a software engineer, but they have learned only in the first 1 or 2 years. You can avoid that, but it's not easy. My recommendation is that at work, anytime that you have the opportunity to get a task or a project or whatever that you are not sure if you're going to succeed, you take it. Because this uncertainty that says that you are not sure if you're going to make it is precisely your brain telling you, hey, I'm lazy and I don't want to learn more. We are okay where we are now. Please don't give me more pressure. And as I've told you, being under pressure is the best way to learn something. And that's my key number 5. Put yourself under pressure. Putting yourself under pressure means that you have to take risk. And taking risk has a lot of different shapes. One of them is what I've told you before, to take a project that you don't know if you're going to succeed. But another one can be to switch your job. If you have been working in a job that you know you're not going to learn much more, but you feel there comfortable because you have there a source of income, and you think that the market now is brutal, you say, okay, AI is going to replace programmers. I don't know, I'm scared. Okay, so if if AI is going to replace programmers, it's for sure going to replace the programmers that don't want to progress in their career. And if you're looking for a job, you're job hunting currently, and you want to learn something, the trick is, while you're job hunting, you will receive a few technical interviews. There are these technical interviews that are like a weekend project, a project that they give you in, I don't know, in 48 hours, in 24 hours. You have to give it back to them solved. This is a great opportunity to put yourself under pressure, and in that 48 hours, you will learn a lot. Okay, you will learn a lot. Hey, remember, this is a recommendation for learning. I don't believe this is the best way to find a job, and there are other videos in this channel that will tell you why. But for learning, it's a great opportunity. And to finish this video, if you have seen these keys and you think that maybe not all of them, but more or less you're following what I'm saying, I'm sure that you can make much more money than what you are doing in your current job. So if you are a software engineer and you want to switch jobs and add $30,000 to your annual salary in just 3 months, check out the link on the description to have a call with me such that I can see if I can help you. Bye.